Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the process of this watercolor piece of this matcha girl illustration that I did for a Draw This in Your Style challenge hosted by IRAVILLE. I will put the process video that she made of her illustration as well as her Instagram account in my description so you can check out her absolutely wonderful artwork. For those of you who are not familiar, a Draw This in Your Style challenge is this hashtag that's been going around on Instagram where an artist will post an artwork that they made and they will invite other artists to recreate that artwork in their own style. Recently, I've been coming across a lot of Draw This in Your Style challenges on Instagram, and when I saw this cute illustration by Iraville, I just I just had to do it. I start off with this rough sketch in my sketchbook and I'm trying to figure out what I want the finished illustration to look like. In Iraville's version, she had this semicircle for the bushes, and when I was drawing that, I thought of a snow globe at that moment, and because the illustration that Iraville did gave me really autumny vibes, I thought it would be nice to have like a fall globe kind of concept for my piece. Since I absolutely suck at anatomy, I had to go through a ton of rough sketches in order to make the girl look anatomically sound. After I'm done with the sketch and I'm satisfied with how it looks, I go over it one last time with my red polychromos color pencil. I do this because I find that typically when I paint over graphite, some of the information does get lost, and for this piece I wanted to strictly stay within the lines. So when I'm doing pieces like this, I need to have my sketch perfectly visible to me in order to stay within the lines and not stray outside of it, and to prevent mistakes. And also because the polychromos pencils are oil based, they do not interact with the water, and so there is minimal smudging as compared to graphite. And after that, I test out my colors on the scrap piece of paper because I wanted my colors to be as close to the original illustration as possible. One thing that I've noticed that Iraville does a lot is that she uses the same base color for most of the elements of her piece in most of her illustrations, and it gives this really nice warm undertone to her paintings, and I wanted to incorporate that into this piece. So I used a very light wash of burnt umber mixed with a little bit of burnt sienna. And for the shadow tones, I just mix a very tiny amount of ultramarine blue to the skin tone that I just created. And I basically use the same skin tone color with just a little bit more burnt umber for the hair, and I also add in black periodically to darken up the values. Another thing that I've seen Iraville and other artists like MAKOCCINO do is that they use this negative painting technique in their illustrations, and Iraville used this technique for the bush painting. Basically what it is that you go in first with the lightest color that you want there to be, and then you outline the shape that you want, and then with the next darker shade of color, instead of painting inside the shape, you paint outside and around the shape, and thus by repeating this process with progressively darker and darker colors, it eventually gives a sense of depth to your painting. While I was painting the grass, I realized that the left leg was a little bit more raised than the right one, and late realization. So, to rectify that, I added a rock under the left leg so it looks like the leg is actually resting on the rock instead of just floating in the air. And here I'm adding some blush to the cheeks with some burnt sienna using the wet on wet technique. And I also use the wet on wet technique later on to paint in the inside of the globe. I added these paper planes as a halo around her head because I wanted to give like this daydreaming vibe, and also I think it looks really cute. So and at this point I'm just going in with my color pencils and adding some finishing touches. And after that, we're finally done with the finished piece. This was a lot of fun, and I hope it was fun for you as well to watch me recreate this beautiful illustration by IRAVILLE. Once again, everything will be linked in the description, so you guys can check it out if you want to. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and a great week ahead of you, and I hope to see you guys soon in the next one. Bye!